The candles had burned halfway down. Emma stared at the untouched dinner, cold now, the china plates reflecting the weak amber flames. 9 o'clock. 3 hours she had waited. The front door opened. Daniel walked past her without a glance, phone pressed to his ear, briefcase swinging. He disappeared into his study like she was air, like she was nothing. Emma stood slowly. Her reflection, caught in the darkened window, showed a stranger wearing her face. When had she become invisible? She knocked on his study door, pushed it open before he could refuse. Daniel barely looked up from his laptop. The blue glow made his features sharp, unfamiliar. "Daniel, we need to talk. Can this wait? Major deal closing tomorrow?" "No." Her voice cracked. "It cannot wait. We cannot wait." He sighed like she was exhausting him. "What is it, Emma? When did we stop being a couple?" The words tumbled out. "When did you stop seeing me as your wife and start treating me like furniture?" Daniel leaned back, arms crossed, cold. Always so cold now. "I work hard to provide this lifestyle. You have everything. What more do you expect?" "I expect you to be present." Tears burned her eyes. "I do not want expensive things. I want my husband to actually see me, to talk to me. I want to feel like I matter." "You are being dramatic. This is how marriages work when you are building an empire." "No." Emma shook her head. "I signed up to marry a man who loved me. The man who brought me flowers, who laughed with me." "Where did he go?" Daniel stood abruptly. His chair scraped against the floor. For the first time in months, he looked directly at her, but his eyes held no warmth, only frustration. Something darker. "You want the truth?" His voice was low, harsh. "Fine, marrying you was a mistake. You were the biggest mistake of my life." The room tilted. Emma gripped the desk, her knuckles white. "What did you just say?" "You heard me." Daniel's tone did not waver. "I got caught up in the romance. But the reality is, you hold me back. You demand attention I do not have. You are a burden I cannot afford anymore." Hot tears streamed down Emma's face, but she refused to look away. She wanted him to see the pain, to understand what he had just destroyed. His expression remained unchanged. "If that is truly how you feel," Emma whispered, voice shaking but determined, "then I will make this easy for you. I am leaving." She turned and walked out. Behind her, Daniel called her name once. She did not stop. In their bedroom, she pulled a suitcase from the closet. Her hands trembled as she threw clothes inside, not caring what she grabbed. The silk bedding, the designer clothes, the skyline view through floor-to-ceiling windows. None of it mattered. This prison had stopped being home the moment he stopped loving her, if he ever truly had. Daniel stood in the hallway when she emerged. Something flickered across his face. Regret? Surprise? It vanished instantly. "Where will you go?" "Anywhere but here." Emma lifted her chin. "Somewhere I am not a mistake." She walked past him, reached for the door. "You will regret this," Daniel said. "You are giving up everything." Emma paused, looked back one final time. "No, Daniel. I am finally choosing myself. The only thing I regret is not doing this sooner." The door closed behind her with a hollow echo. Emma stood in the empty hallway, breathing hard, processing what had just happened. Her entire life had changed in a single conversation. She pulled out her phone, called the only person she knew would answer. "Grace, is everything okay?" Her best friend asked immediately. "No." Emma's voice cracked. "Nothing is okay. Can I stay with you tonight? I just left Daniel. Come over right now. I will put the kettle on." The taxi pulled away from the building. Emma looked back once at the towering structure of glass and steel. Somewhere up there, Daniel was probably already back at his desk. The realization that he would barely miss her hurt more than anything. But as the building disappeared from view, Emma felt something unexpected stirring alongside the pain. Hope. Small and fragile, but there. For the first time in years, she had chosen herself. She was not a mistake. She never had been, and she would prove it. Sunlight streamed through Grace's curtains. For a moment, Emma forgot where she was. Then reality crashed down. Grace appeared with coffee, her expression soft with sympathy. "How are you feeling?" Emma wrapped her hands around the warm mug. "Like my entire life just fell apart. I know it feels that way. But I promise this is not the end. This is the beginning of something better." Emma wanted to believe her. She spent the next days in a fog, barely eating. Grace gave her space, but never left her truly alone. On the fourth day, Grace sat across from her with determination burning in her eyes. "Okay, enough mourning." Grace's voice was firm but loving. "You are talented, smart, capable. Daniel may not have seen your worth, but the rest of the world will. What am I supposed to do? I left everything. No job, no place to live, nothing. You have your skills." Grace leaned forward. "You are an incredible interior designer. Remember the boutique hotel renovation? The restaurant redesigned that one, that award?" Emma had almost forgotten. Daniel had convinced her to give up her career. At the time, it seemed romantic. Now she saw it for what it was. Control. A cage with golden bars. "I have been out of the industry for 3 years. Nobody will remember me, then remind them." Grace smiled. "I still have contacts for marketing. Let me make some calls." Over the following weeks, Emma slowly rebuilt. Grace connected her with small projects. Emma threw herself into the work, grateful for the distraction and the chance to create again. She rented a tiny studio apartment in a modest neighborhood. Nothing like the penthouse. But when she unlocked the door for the first time, tears streamed down her face. This felt like home. Her first major break came from Patricia, who owned a coffee shop in the Arts District. Patricia gave Emma complete creative freedom. Emma poured her heart into the project. Warm colors, comfortable furniture, unique lighting that made the space feel alive, welcoming, real. When the redesign was complete, the coffee shop exploded. Customers loved it. Photos flooded social media. Patricia recommended Emma to everyone she knew. Soon, Emma had more work than she could handle. Boutiques, restaurants, office spaces, an art gallery. Each project let her express herself in ways she never could during her marriage. She was no longer invisible. 6 months after leaving Daniel, Emma attended a networking event. She wore a simple navy dress, her hair pulled back. As she walked through the gallery, she felt genuinely happy for the first time in years. She was proud of what she had accomplished. Alone, she was examining a modern sculpture when a voice spoke from behind her. "Interesting piece, is it not? I cannot decide if I love it or hate it." Emma turned. A tall man with kind brown eyes and an easy smile stood there. Casual blazer, button-down shirt. Something about him felt approachable, safe. "I think that is the point of modern art," Emma replied, surprising herself with how natural it felt to talk to him. "Fair point." He extended his hand. "Marcus Chen, architect, and you are?" "Emma Williams." "Interior designer, Williams?" His eyes lit up. "Wait, you did that coffee shop redesign everyone is talking about?" "The one in the Arts District." Emma felt warmth spread through her chest. "That was me. That space is incredible. I took a client there last week specifically because of the atmosphere." Marcus smiled wider. "You have real talent." They talked for an hour. Marcus was easy to talk to, genuinely interested in her work. He shared stories about his own projects, made her laugh, listened when she spoke. When the event ended, Marcus walked her to her car. "This might be forward," he said, hesitation in his voice. "But would you want to grab coffee sometime? I have a project coming up that could use your eye, and maybe we could just talk more." Emma felt something flutter in her chest. Fear, excitement, both. I would like that. As she drove home that night, Emma realized something had shifted. The pain was still there, Daniel's words still echoed sometimes, but she was building something new, something that was entirely hers. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Emma, it's Daniel. We need to talk. Can you meet me tomorrow?" Her hands tightened on the steering wheel. She stared at the message at a red light. After 6 months of silence, Now he wanted to talk? Emma's finger hovered over the delete button, but something stopped her. Emma met Daniel at a quiet cafe near his office. Neutral ground. She arrived early, ordered black coffee, and chose a table by the window where she could watch people pass by. Normal people living normal lives. Daniel walked in wearing his signature charcoal suit. He looked thinner, tired. Dark circles shadowed his eyes. He sat across from her without asking. Ordered an espresso from the passing waitress. "Thank you for coming." Emma said nothing. Waited. "I have been thinking," Daniel began, fingers drumming the table. "About us. About what happened. I may have been too harsh." "Too harsh?" Emma's voice was flat. "You called me the biggest mistake of your life." I was under immense pressure. The Northridge deal was falling apart. I did not mean it the way it sounded. "And how did you mean it, Daniel?" He looked away. "I miss you. The apartment is empty. Everything reminds me of you." Emma studied his face. Searched for something real. Found only exhaustion and perhaps loneliness. Not love. Not understanding. "You do not miss me," she said quietly. "You miss having someone there. Someone to make your life comfortable." "That is not the same thing. That is not fair." "Fair." Emma leaned forward. "What about this has been fair? You made me feel worthless. You took my career, my confidence, everything that made me who I was. And when I needed you most, you called me a burden." Daniel's jaw tightened. "I know I made mistakes, but we can work through this. Come home. We can go to therapy, take a vacation, whatever you need." "I do not need anything from you anymore, Daniel. I needed you 6 months ago. I needed you every night. I sat alone waiting for you. But I do not need you now." His expression hardened. The mask slipped back into place. "You think you are better off without me? Living in that tiny apartment, scrambling for freelance work? You had everything. I had nothing that mattered." Emma stood. "I came here because I thought maybe you deserved closure. But I see now you just wanted to prove you still had power over me, Emma. Wait." She did not wait. She walked out into the bright afternoon sun, her heart pounding but her steps steady. Her phone buzzed. "Marcus. Coffee this week. I have that project to discuss. And I just want to see you again." Emma smiled. Typed back, "Tomorrow?" Over the next month, Emma and Marcus grew close. He was everything Daniel was not. Present, interested, encouraging. He praised her work, challenged her ideas, made her laugh until her sides hurt. They met for coffee that became dinner. Dinner that became long walks through the city. Marcus asked about her past, listened without judgment when she told him about Daniel. "He really said that to you?" Marcus's voice was gentle but angry. "That you were a mistake?" "Yes, he was wrong. Anyone who cannot see your value is blind." Emma felt her walls crumbling. Marcus made her feel seen, valued, alive. One evening, after finishing a collaborative project together, they stood outside her apartment building. Rain had started falling, soft and steady. "Emma," Marcus said, stepping closer, "I know you have been through hell, and I do not want to rush anything. But I need you to know how I feel. You are extraordinary. Being with you feels like the most natural thing in the world." Emma's breath caught. "Marcus, I feel it too, but I am scared. What if I am not ready? What if I hurt you? Then we go slow. I am not going anywhere." He cupped her face gently, giving her time to pull away. She did not. When their lips met, Emma felt something break open inside her. Not pain, relief, permission to feel again. But as Marcus held her close under the rain, Emma's phone buzzed in her pocket. She ignored it. Later that night, alone in her apartment, she checked the message. "Daniel again. I know about him. Marcus Chen. I had you followed, Emma. You need to know who you are really dealing with. Meet me tomorrow. Alone. This is important." Emma's blood ran cold. Had her followed? The audacity. The violation. But something in the message unsettled her. The urgency. The warning. What did Daniel know about Marcus? And why did it suddenly feel like the ground beneath her was about to crack open? Emma met Daniel at his office building. This time, she did not come as his wife. She came as a woman demanding answers. He led her to his private conference room. No coffee, no pretense of civility. Just two people standing across from each other like opponents. You had me followed. Emma's voice was ice. That is a new low, even for you. I needed to know you were okay, liar. You needed to know I was not moving on. You needed control. Daniel pulled a folder from his briefcase, slid it across the table. Marcus Chen. Read it. Emma opened the folder with trembling hands. Inside were documents, photos, articles. Her eyes scanned the pages, her stomach dropping with each line. Marcus Chen, former business partner of Daniel's. 5 years ago, they had co-founded a tech startup. It failed spectacularly. Marcus blamed Daniel for the collapse, claimed he had sabotaged the company to pursue his own ventures. There was more. Legal documents. A lawsuit Marcus had filed and lost. Emails where Marcus vowed to make Daniel pay, to hurt him the way he had been hurt. Emma shook her head. This is fake. You are making this up because you cannot stand seeing me happy. Call him right now, Daniel said, his voice oddly calm. Ask him how we know each other. Watch his face when you mention my name. Emma's hands shook. Even if this is true, it does not give you the right to interfere in my life. Emma, he did not find you by accident. He knew exactly who you were. That networking event? He knew you would be there. He approached you specifically because you are my wife. Ex-wife. Tilly. We never filed. Daniel stepped closer. I know I destroyed us. I know I deserve your hate. But whatever Marcus is doing, whatever game he is playing, you are caught in the middle. And I could not live with myself if he hurt you to hurt me. I felt tears burning. Why should I believe you? You spent 3 years making me feel worthless. Why would you care now? Because losing you was the worst mistake I ever made. Daniel's voice cracked. I did not realize what I had until it was gone. I am not asking you to come back. I know I do not deserve that. But please be careful. Ask him the truth. And if I am wrong, if he really loves you, then I will leave you alone forever. Emma grabbed the folder and left without another word. That evening, Marcus came to her apartment. She had asked him to come over, said she wanted to cook dinner. Her hands shook as she let him in. They ate in uncomfortable silence. Marcus noticed immediately. Emma, what is wrong? You have barely said 2 words.
Oh.
She put down her fork. How do you know, Daniel? Marcus froze. His fork clattered against his plate. What? Daniel Williams? My ex-husband. How do you know him? Marcus's expression shifted. Calculation replaced warmth. Did he tell you about me? Answer the question, Marcus. He stood, ran his hands through his hair, paced. When he turned back, his face was different. Harder. Fine. Yes, I know Daniel. We were business partners. He destroyed everything I built. Cost me millions. Ruined my reputation. And when did you plan to tell me this? Emma's voice shook. Before or after you used me to get to him? It was not like that. Marcus stepped toward her. At first, maybe. I saw an opportunity. But then I got to know you. Everything I feel for you is real, Emma. You lied to me. Tears streamed down her face. You made me trust you. You knew exactly who I was, and you played me like a fool. I am sorry. I am so sorry. But my feelings are real. I love you. You do not love me. You love the idea of hurting Daniel, and I was just collateral damage. Marcus reached for her. She stepped back. Get out. Emma, please, get out of my apartment. Now. Marcus stared at her for a long moment. Something cold settled in his eyes. You are going to regret this. Just like you will regret ever being with him. When he left, Emma collapsed on the floor, sobbing. Both men had used her. Both had lied. She was right back where she started, alone, broken, unable to trust her own judgment. Her phone rang. Daniel, Emma, are you okay? No. Her voice was barely a whisper. I am not okay. I am coming over. No, Daniel. You do not get to save me. You do not get to be the hero. You started all of this? I know. But please, let me help you. Emma hung up, sat in the dark, wondered how she had become the prize in a game between two men who had never truly seen her at all. Emma did not leave her apartment for 3 days. Grace brought food, sat with her in silence, let her process the betrayal from both sides. On the 4th day, Emma stood in front of her mirror, really looked at herself. She had spent 3 years with Daniel feeling invisible, then 6 months with Marcus feeling seen, but both versions were lies. Neither man had actually known her. She pulled out her phone, made 2 calls. Meet me at Riverside Park. 1 hour. Both of you. When Emma arrived, Daniel and Marcus stood on opposite sides of the walking path. The tension was immediate, electric. They looked at each other with barely concealed hatred. Emma walked between them, stood in the center. I brought you both here because I am done being the thing you fight over. I am done being used, Emma, Marcus started. No, you do not get to talk yet. She turned to Daniel first. You destroyed me. You made me feel worthless, invisible, like I was a burden on your perfect life. You took everything that made me who I was and crushed it. And now you want to play the protective ex-husband? You do not get that role. Daniel's face fell. I know. I was wrong about everything. Yes, you were. Emma's voice broke. But you know what hurts most? I wasted 3 years waiting for you to love me the way I loved you. And you never did. She turned to Marcus. His jaw was tight, defiant. You saw a wounded woman and thought she would be perfect for revenge. You made me trust again, made me feel alive. But it was all calculated. Every smile, every touch, every word was part of your plan to hurt him. That is not true, Marcus said. My feelings became real. Maybe they did, but they started as a lie. And I deserve better than being someone's revenge plot. The 3 stood in silence. A jogger passed. Birds sang in the trees. Life went on around them while Emma's world crystallized into perfect clarity. I have a choice to make, Emma said quietly. Daniel wants me back because he finally realized what he lost. Marcus wants me because somewhere in his revenge he caught feelings. But neither of you chose me for me. You chose me for what I represented. That is not fair, Daniel said. I am trying to make things right. Cannot make this right. Some things once broken cannot be fixed. Emma looked between them. And Marcus, if your feelings are real, they are built on a foundation of lies. How could I ever trust that? So what are you saying? Marcus asked, anger creeping into his voice. You are choosing him? No. Emma took a deep breath. I am choosing myself. She pulled 2 envelopes from her bag, handed one to each man. Daniel, these are divorce papers. I had them drawn up yesterday.
I find them.
Our marriage ended the night you called me a mistake. It is time to make it official. Daniel stared at the envelope like it might burn him. Emma, please. I can change. I do not want you to change for me. I want you to change for yourself. And I want to be free, she turned to Marcus. And this is a cease and desist letter. Stay away from me. Stay away from Daniel. Whatever revenge you wanted, you do not get to use me to achieve it. Marcus looked stunned. After everything, you are protecting him. No, I am protecting myself. From both of you, Emma stepped back, looked at both men one final time. The man who had destroyed her, the man who had rebuilt her for the wrong reasons. I spent too long letting men define my worth. Daniel made me feel worthless. Marcus made me feel valuable, but neither of you saw the truth. I was always valuable. I was always enough. I just needed to see it myself. She turned to leave. Emma, wait, Daniel called. I do love you. I know I did not show it. I know I destroyed us. But I do. Emma stopped, did not turn around. Maybe you do, Daniel. Maybe you finally figured that out. But love without respect, without effort, without truly seeing someone is not enough. And I deserve more than your guilt or your regret. Down the path, past the willow trees. Into the sunlight, behind her, she heard nothing. No footsteps following. No voices calling her back, just silence. And for the first time in years, that silence felt like freedom. 6 months later, Emma stood at the opening of her first solo art gallery exhibition. She had transformed a warehouse space into a stunning showcase of emerging artists. Critics called it revolutionary. Business owners lined up to hire her. Grace stood beside her, grinning. You did it. You actually did it. We did it, Emma corrected, squeezing her friend's hand. Patricia appeared with champagne. To the woman who turned a coffee shop into an empire. Not an empire, just a life, her life. Built by her own hands, her own vision, her own strength, she never heard from Marcus again. She signed the divorce papers Daniel sent back a month later. No note, no message. Just his signature and a check for more money than she needed. She donated it all to a women's shelter. As Emma stood in her gallery, surrounded by art and light and possibility, she realized something profound. She had been searching for someone to make her feel whole, but wholeness was never something another person could give her. It was something she had to find within herself, and she finally had. A young woman approached, nervously clutching a portfolio. Ms. Williams, I am an interior design student. Your work inspired me to keep going after a terrible breakup. Could I show you my designs? Emma smiled, really smiled. Of course. Tell me your story. She listened to the young woman talk about heartbreak and healing. Emma realized this was her purpose. Not to be someone's wife or someone's revenge, but to be herself, to help others, to create beauty from pain. She was not a mistake. She never had been, and she finally truly believed it. The end.